Hey my lovies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Gugu, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping back by. Today's video is just going to be the soft glam bronze makeup look. I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. It is definitely not my everyday look, girl. This is a bit too extra, but if you want to spice things up in your makeup routine, I really hope you enjoy this video. Without further ado, let us get into the video. I'm gonna start off by shaving my mustache because we want the smoothest base possible. This for me just creates like a gray shade around my mustache when I'm taking pictures. Like, girl, I don't want to look like I have a beard. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to start by doing my brows, because if you moisturize your face before you do your brows, they may not stick in place, especially if you do so brows like I do. So I'm just going to take a bar of soap, some setting spray or water, and use a spoolie to just tame my brow hairs in place. There we go. I have tons of eyebrow tutorials, so if you want to check them out, you can go on my Instagram or my YouTube channel. I do have one. I think that was my first video actually, so enjoy that, but this won't be as in-depth. I'm just going to lay them in place. Now I'm going to come back and finish off my brows, but this is just setting the base for my face, just to help me with structure and everything. So after setting the brows in place, I'm going to moisturize my face. I use this Palmer's Vitamin E moisturizer. I do have oily skin, but I still love using a moisturizer because I have certain areas that flake. So this for me is a crucial step. So I'm just going to moisturize just to make sure that your base stays in place throughout the day, because if there's no moisture, your base is going to end up cracking throughout the day, and we don't want that. So make sure you prep your skin. This is so important. After moisturizer, I go in with the sunscreen, and this is my favorite sunscreen. It doesn't break me out. It makes your skin glow. It doesn't have any purple or bluish undertones. It's just beautiful. Make sure to go down your neck. I do forget. You see the glow? Period. So this is why we need to prep. Your skin needs to look healthy and be healthy underneath the makeup. It is not going to conceal or hide any pimples, but it's going to enhance what you already have. So that is why I do take time to prep my skin. We're not done, but I'm going to move on to eyeshadow first, and then we're gonna get ready with the base. I'm going to carve out my brows using this light foundation and a concealer. You can use any concealer you have. I just sometimes don't use concealers for my brows. I use whatever product I have available. It's not really a big deal. And then a lighter shade of foundation just to highlight my brow bone. Some people prefer to use just a lighter shade of concealer, but today's look is a soft brown glam, so we want everything to look blended and cohesive. So I'm not going to make my under eyes super bright. And I know so many people ask me which brushes I use. Honestly, I buy these from the beauty supply store and on Shein, so they don't really have like numbers. I couldn't tell you where to find them, but at least hopefully like just giving you a guide of the name. It's a flat foundation brush. I use it to blend out my concealer and under my eyes, because I never really knew what to do with those flat brushes they give you in the set, but I really do not spend a lot on my brushes. The only one that needs to be like your top tier quality is the foundation brush. Now that is very important, but everything else for me is just like a blending brush. Girl, you don't need to pay 600 rand for a Bobbi Brown eyeshadow brush, you know? Like, girl, these work just as good. These, literally, my best friend got it for me as a birthday gift, and I still use them, so no pressure. As you can see, I use this a lot, so I'm going to use that shade, and I'm just going to blend that into my crease. And I'm going to use this shimmer just a little bit, and then I'm going to blend it out. So this is my eyeliner. If you struggle with like doing liquid ink, I use a pencil, and this is in the shade brown from LA Girl. And I'm just going to, there we go, and then I'm going to, and there you go, simple, easy, and it is perfect for girlies with brown eyes. Mwah. Honestly, I'm not the best at applying lashes, so girl, I'd love to make a tutorial, but once I figure myself out, you know. But apparently looking down, okay, and then I'm gonna stick the front first and then the back. Girl, okay, I think I did it. Okay, this method seems to be working for me these days. Like maybe, ooh, I love these lashes. Like they make my eyes look so dreamy, and my eyes are big, y'all. My eyes are big, but this just, it gives off sultry vibes. I love it. Mwah. I'm going to do more skin prep. I'm going to apply a primer. This is an eyeshadow primer. The other primer that I have is this Maybelline baby skin primer. I use these two like combined sometimes, but today I'm just going to use the eyeshadow primer. I feel like it helps my makeup grip more than the Maybelline one. You don't really need to use primer if you have drier skin, but I'm going to apply this mattifying primer where I'm very oily, because that is where the foundation tends to move around and it doesn't look cute. I'm just gonna apply it there. As you can see, there is a difference, or at least I see it. It's just more matte around my oily areas. And beautiful. Now I'm going to go in with some setting powder. I use this Makeup Revolution banana loose powder to set my face. I learned this tip from Miss Jackie Aina, and it helps your makeup last longer and stay on throughout the day. So I'm just going to put it on my Fit Me pressed powder just as a canvas. I'm not going to mix the both of them for this, but I'm just going to use it now. Let me use this sponge. So you're going to take your beauty blender, tap a little bit of that, so if you have drier skin, I would not recommend you to do this because your skin is already dry, so the product is going to kind of latch onto your base easier. However, this is going to make you even more dry, so yeah, no, your makeup is going to crack, so don't do this. This is not for everyone, but for my oily skin girls, this will help a lot with controlling oils throughout the day. Okay, so now that I look like I'm ready to get into a cascade, that's how you know you're on the right track. Setting spray from Wet n Wild, and just set all those products in place. Now I'm going to go in with foundation. These are my two favorite products. This is not a foundation, it's actually a serum, but I use it as a foundation, and this one is just going to give me more coverage. This is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. It's really an OG, super affordable, super convenient, and this one is a bit more on the pricey side, but it is so worth it, so worth it. And I'm going to apply a little bit. A little goes a long way with this, so you don't need a lot. And then I'm going to apply some setting spray on my brush. Okay. And then I'm going to blend that out. Remember not to blend your foundation all the way underneath your eyes, because that is going to make your makeup look more creasy and cakey. We don't want that, so just place it and distribute it underneath your under eyes. And then I'm going to go in with this foundation. I don't know if I'm going to use this shade, Toffee or Warm Natural, depending on the season. So during winter, I am a more lighter shade, so I will mix it with this lighter shade. But during summer, when I'm a bit more tan, I use Toffee. So it just depends. I'm going to use a beauty blender and just blend that in. This blender is damp, so you can choose. Honestly, some people like using a dry blender, but I don't. I use both the foundation and the blender because I feel as though the blender just gives it a more natural look overall. The foundation just helps me apply the product without it dragging too much. And by dragging, I mean sponges pick up product, so I prefer the foundation to just spread it evenly around my face, and then this just helps blend it in seamlessly to look more natural. As you can see, I still have some scars showing. For me, that is not a problem because this foundation routine is not supposed to be full coverage. It's supposed to look like my skin, but better, so I'm not trying to conceal or hide any of those. If you are, then you would want to color correct before you apply the foundation, but for me, girl, I don't care. It's still going to look beautiful and flawless regardless, so I'm okay. So now I'm going to conceal and contour. I use this Revlon foundation stick in the shade 440 to contour. I love foundation sticks because I feel they blend in smoother and they're so creamy, so it's just easier to blend this than a powder. And this is the L'Oreal concealer, super full coverage. I love her. A little goes a long way, so I'm gonna have this for a really long time. It is super expensive, girl. I got it on special on Takealot, so it was half price, but ooh, 200 rand for this. It is worth it, but girl. So I'm just going to apply a little bit. That is a little bit. That is not a little bit. Never mind. Now I love a super full coverage under eye. Hence why I'm going in depth with this. A little bit there. Let me make it a bit more. And then I'm going to contour with the foundation stick. I do a line there. Some nose contour. Good, so this is how my base looks right now. As you can see, this under eye shade is super bright, too light for my complexion, so I go in and I mix it with this Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn, I think. Yes, it's in the shade Fawn, and this is just going to help blend everything together, make it look more seamless, because if you use this light shade, you're going to have flashback when you take pictures in the dark, so we don't want that. We need it to balance out, so this one is a more natural concealer to just blend that in together. But before that, I love doing this underpainting blush technique. I'm going to use a liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Duck Face from Essence, and just apply it there, and my nose, and a little bit there. I don't know why I put it there. It just looks, it looks good to me. So before I go in with this concealer, I'm just going to put some setting spray on my face and blend out the contour and the blush first, because the liquid blush dries out really quickly. Oh, it's a liquid lipstick, but I call it a liquid blush. And I'm gonna close my eyes. Beautiful. And then blend out this contour and the blush. I'm gonna use this thick foundation brush and blend upwards. That is so beautiful. Oh girl, I'm in love. So smile. It's gonna help you find where your Adam's, is it your girl? That's not an Adam's apple. Where the Adam's apple of your cheeks are. Blend into your hairline, into your edges, girl. We're not trying to have any lines of demarcation. Sometimes I blend it towards my eyebrows. It doesn't really matter. It makes it look more natural and cohesive that way, so I don't mind. It took my forehead from like a 5 head to a good 3. And that's what I love about contouring, or just creating illusions of a smaller, more structured face. Blend into your hairline, don't forget. I'm gonna blend this out with my foundation brush. Now I'm going to go in with this concealer. This is our neutralizer, so I'm going to apply a little bit there by my mustache, my forehead on top of this concealer, and around the perimeters of this lighter shade that we used before. And the forehead. And then for my under eyes, I start off with a foundation brush, and then I go in with a sponge. This technique just ensures that I maintain that full coverage look under my eyes. The foundation doesn't need to be full coverage, but girl, my concealer, it needs to give. And blend that out. Do you see how beautiful that looks? Like, it's just melting into my skin. I love this technique. So for my under eyes, I'm going to use this Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless pressed powder in the shade Golden. And I mix it with the Makeup Revolution loose powder. I don't know why, but that combo is just so beautiful. It is full coverage. If you use a pressed powder alone, it's going to give you full coverage, but with the loose powder, it makes it look more airbrushed, so I love that combination. I use the powder brush first, and then I go in with the beauty blender that I used to set my face in the beginning. I'm just going to mix them both, tap off, blend it out one more time, get those fine lines, make sure there are no streaks. You just want to pinch your brush for this technique to get into all those corners. And now I'm going to set all the areas where I applied concealer. So around my mustache, my chin, but I will not do that on my forehead. For me, my forehead is kind of dry, so it just ends up separating throughout the day, so I don't set my forehead. With regards to bronzer or contour, you don't need to go out and buy like a contour or bronzing palette. I'm going to use this brown eyeshadow that I used on my eyes, and this is just going to bring the look together because we're using colors that are similar on the face. It's going to create coherence, it's going to make it look blended. And this is a contour kit powder. Now the only reason I use this is because of this golden glowy shade. Let me show you. Can you see? Well, you don't need the shimmer. I know a lot of people don't like shimmer, but I like my bronzer to have a little bit of shine because I do not apply a highlight on my face, so I mix it with my bronzer instead. So I'm going to apply this brown shade, tap off the excess because it is super harsh, and then mix it with that shiny powder, tap off, and then just sculpt the face where we already put that contour. Beautiful. More shimmer, tap off. You can pout your lips for more definition so you can see where your cheekbones are. I'm going to take this sponge and just blend it out. And now I'm going to do my lips. It's pretty simple. Today I don't want to do anything too extra. I'm going to use this Wet n Wild kohl liner. It looks beaten up because I use it all the time. Okay, let me wipe my lips off first. This liner is in the shade Simma Brown. I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Chestnut. And then go over it with the kohl liner. Beautiful, simple, and then some gloss. I think I'll use this Essence gloss in the shade Flower Blossom. So now we're gonna go in with blush. I'm going to use an orange eyeshadow for blush. So on this same palette, there's this orange shade, and I'm going to use that, tap off the excess, and then just softly brush your cheeks. You can always build this up with more blush, but you don't want to apply too much too quick. And now I'm going to do some highlighter. I'm going to use any shimmer shade of your choice. Now I'm going to highlight my eyes, the inner corners only. This just brightens up the whole look. I'm just going to do that, as well as the nose. And then we're going to apply some setting spray just to finish off. As you can see, we still have some scars, some pimples showing, but that for me is okay. I want my makeup to look like it's sitting on my face. Of course, we did take time to prep the skin to make sure that it looks beautiful and healthy. So for me, all the other things are just pretty normal. I do not mind. This was not supposed to be full coverage. It's just supposed to look like a soft glam, but still relating to your normal natural skin. So this is how I be looking. It's giving very much glam. It's giving soft glam, neutral, your face but better. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you're here, please don't forget to like this video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really hope you found it helpful and that you've learned a couple of tips and tricks. Without further ado, stay beautiful, stay blessed. I love you. God loves you more. Mwah.